going on, everybody? It is your boy Arrows here, and we are here with, well, honestly, just a ramp in reveals. I believe content creators are now putting out their reveals. We got a lot to cover, so this isn't going to be like as in depth for the first couple as I normally do, but we will show you what we got. So, as right, see reveals are out and about. I took the weekend off and instantly regretted it because there's so many reveals, but we got to talk about a lot of them. So we got like these four are just obviously your generic ones. They're just cool. The art is amazing. The art is amazing in this entire set. But you're not going to play these. They're just here because they look cool. Example, Rafiki is a 1-drop 2/2. You're not going to play this in Amethyst if you're playing 1-drops over Chernobog or over Olaf. So, moving on. The same thing can be said about Basil. Evasive 3/2, one questing, 1 lore, 3-drop. If you're playing evasives, there are much better options out here than Basil. If you're playing Ruby Emerald evasives, you're running Mini in this slot. That's all I can say. You're running Mini in this slot. If you're running Emerald with anything and you need an evasive, you're running Sir Hiss at 2 drops to deal as a 2-drop to deal with Mini, to deal with Diablo. Basil doesn't really have a spot in the meta right now. Coming into Rabbit. Rabbit is niche. If you're going to play a dedicated healing deck, you're probably going Amber, Sapphire. Rabbit is really good with Grandpappy because you get to heal. You get to heal for cheap because he's just a 1-drop, and then you can gain extra lore with Grandpappy. I don't really think he has a place in anything else other than that. Amber as a whole has better healing characters in Maribel's mom, who I cannot remember her name. I can never remember her name. And Rapunzel gifted with healing. There's also like smaller other niche cards that do healing in Amber better that don't really see play. But like in a pure dedicated heal, cheap healing comboed up with Grandpappy, this definitely has potential. This Mickey should have probably been in with the early stuff that you're not going to play. Your 3-drop slot in Ruby, it's not going to go to this. It's almost always going to go to Mini. It's always going to go to anything else that isn't this. The fact that this has to be at a location to get the +2. The only real decks that run mass amount of locations are Steel. You could maybe put this over with the Knight, with the Door's Mine. But again, you're going to want to move a Knight there most of the time anyway. I don't really see this having any potential going forward. I could be wrong though, but I'm very doubtful of that. Mystical Tree has potential. I don't think it's going to be meta potential, but it definitely has potential to be like a fun little deck that you could take to like a locals or maybe use to like teach somebody how to play the game. At the start of your turn, you may move 1 damage counter from chosen character here to chosen opposing character. So you move something over that has damage, put that damage on something else. And if Mama Odie is there, gain 1 lore. There's a lot of cards that move damage around already, so this could be like really good to niche in with them. The issue is Amethyst decks already have Queen's Castle, they already have the library, and if you're playing Brooms, they already have the Sorcerer's Tower. So kind of hard to really find a spot for another Amethyst location, especially one that's not going to give you any type of advantage right away. Helping Hand, I misread this card when I first looked at it. I thought it said all character. I thought it said characters gain support this turn. But honestly, if you want to play a card like this, play the Alice from Rise of the Floodborn, where everything gets support, and then she gets an additional additional lore if her attack power hits 10. So you give everything to her, she gains 10, she attacks. Bellwether, on the other hand, is probably the first of like the really good potential reveals we've gotten. I see this being played in Inventors. Right now, Inventors, we've seen they're mostly Emerald and Sapphire. Sapphire ramps, so you could give a lot of characters Reckless in a turn with this card. I definitely think there's potential there for Bellwether in Inventors. Making things not be able to quest slows your opponent down a turn, really gives you a chance to get in there and get ahead in the lore game. I think this card is going to be really good in Inventors, so I'm really interested to see what people do with that. Genie Wish Fulfilled. I want to like this card. I like this card, don't get me wrong. It's evasive. I didn't put that on here. I should have. It's evasive. When you play this character, you get to draw a card. It's like Rabbit. It's 4 like Rabbit. It's 2/4 like Rabbit. It quests for 2, which is really cool. You're going to get probably a decent amount of questing out of this, but what makes Rabbit so good is that you draw on play and you draw when it leaves the field. I definitely don't see a reason to play this over that. If you can make room for both, go for it, because you're going to get the extra lore from Genie. You're going to get extra card draw. But if you're looking for a Rabbit replacement, well, there is no Rabbit replacement. This is not it. You can play this hand in hand, but I definitely would not replace your Rabbits with this. Heathcliff is just a ward. He just has ward, nothing else. There are better characters out there with ward that have effects that you would want to play over this. Prince John, a Goofy we're going to talk about a little bit later. Cusco, if you want to go way back, there's better ward options than Heathcliff. So this card is one of the 2 cards so far that we've revealed that since I've started doing these videos. This is one of the 2 cards that I'm the most excited for. Hades, ruler of the underworld, soul collector. Whenever one of your other characters is banished during your opponent's turn, gain 2 lore. You have this out with 3 other cards. Your opponent be prepared. I believe it'll work like the Muses. You'll gain that lore no matter what, even with Hades is going. If you could find a way to give this ward, so much potential, because all your opponent's cards that target, along came Zeus, smash, fire the cannons, let the storm rage on, strength for raging fire. They have to target into something other than Hades, which is just going to power up your lore and put you ahead in the game. This is one of the cards that I am so excited for out of this set. I think it has a very good place in oh my god. Very good place in any deck that can give it ward. I believe Emerald has a couple cards that give ward. Definitely worth it to try it out in there. I think it has a ton of potential. Unlike Chief Bogo, I would like this card if it and Gazelle weren't Amber. If we had a non-Amber Gazelle and this card wasn't Amber, this would be fantastic, because Amber already has cards that are much better singers. And honestly, what songs right now are 6 that you're gonna sing? Strength of Raging Fire is 3 or 4. Let the Storm Rage On is 3. Along Came Zeus is 4. A Whole New World is 5. Be Prepared is 7. You can't sing it anyway. Under the Sea is a sing along of 8. You could use it, but it's just gonna be it would just be a 4 or 6. There are just better options out here, and those options are singer all the time, whereas this is only singer when Gazelle's on the field. This is of the 3 cards in this video, this is the other one. There are 3 cards in this video that I'm all super duper excited for. This is another one of them. Goofy Expert Shipwright. He's an inventor. Keep that in mind. Ward, clever design. Whenever this character quests, chosen character gains ward until the start of your next turn. Ignore the spelling mistakes in there. I just noticed those. Apologies. So you give stuff ward. Like, that is amazing. You quest, you give something ward. You want to quest with something, but you don't want to lose it to a card. You give it ward. Like, you give stuff ward, keeps your stuff protected. It's an inventor, so it's going to gain all the cool stuff of that. Like we were talking about with Bellwether, inventors are mostly Emerald, Sapphire. So there's a ton of potential. You can get this out really early because Sapphire ramps really well. Really excited to see what people do with this card. I think it has a ton of potential. Jumbo Pop, on the other hand, I do not think has potential outside of, like we were talking about with Rabbit in that Grand Pabby deck. I think you could get a good use out of that there because you're going to heal from everything, and Pabby will trigger off of every heal. But outside of that, there's no reason to play this in Sapphire decks. Like, maybe a one of, but honestly, 90% of the time, you're not going to want to play this over Fishbone Quill, and you're not going to want to play this over Greystone Dragon. Maybe a one of, because the healing is good, really good, and the drawing of a card is really good. But I don't see a purpose of playing it over what you already play in your Sapphire-based item decks. John Silver, Dangerous Friend. I like this in a rush deck. a deck that plays a lot of rushers, and you can clear your opponent's field with them. Whenever this character quests, you may deal damage to one of your other characters. If you do, ready that character. They cannot quest this turn. You have a Maui on the field, or you have this on the field. You play Maui. You quest. You rush with Maui. You quest. You restand Maui. You rush something else. This is going to let you get so much mileage out of your rushing cards. Your rush cards, I should say. I think this archetype, you can pair it up with Steel for challenging stuff. Thebes, put a character who has rush at Thebes, play this card, quest, gain 2, have your character with rush into something. There's a ton of potential with this card. I'm really excited to see how it does. I think this in like a good like rush challenger deck would be fantastic. Gold coin, again, I guess with gold coin, the same thing kind of applies to what we talked about with John Silver. You can pop a character. You can pop this, ready a character with rush, and go into it. It's a 1 cost, so it's really good. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a smaller John Silver. I think it has potential, like we said, in like a rush challenger deck. Ruby Steel definitely has a lot of potential there. Scar is another one of my like top cards from this set so far that I've done videos for, since we've been doing videos of like and revealing stuff. This is Teeth and Ambitions on a 3 lore body. Fantastic. My only issue with this card is it is only a 2-drop at a 5 cost. A 2 toughness at a 5 cost. It's probably not going to stay on the field to quest. But you're still going to get mileage out of it. When you play this character, deal 2 damage to chosen character of yours, to do 2 damage to chosen opposing character. Chosen opposing character. You can play this. I personally, in my own twisted little head, this with the Donald from, I believe it's Rise of the Floodborn. It might be Into the Inklands. That when it gets an additional lore for every damage counter on it. For every counter on it. You play Teeth and Ambitions, you give it 2. It quests for 3. You play this, give it 2. It quests for 5. It's evasive, so they're gonna have to use a damaging card on it. Really good. But just overall, this is a really good super rare. I'm super excited for it. Nick Wilde Sharp Fox is, depending on how it would rule if you gave this bodyguard. So I'm gonna talk about this card in two different realities. On its own, it's not that good. When you have an item in play, this character can't be challenged. You can just play a Along Came Zeus. You can play cards that do damage to get rid of it. So that's not good. And I guess with the other scenario, that still applies as well. But I don't know how it would rule. I'm assuming it would work like this, but don't quote me. If you gave this character bodyguard with a Fortisphere, and your opponent doesn't have those ways of dealing like damage to it through like card effects, this could be good. Because in my head, if you give this bodyguard and you have an item on the field and it can't be challenged, your opponent can't challenge your other characters. I would need to double check and read a bodyguard. I believe I have one in here. For the purpose of this video. Yes. So bodyguard says, this character may enter play exerted as opposing characters who challenge. An opposing character who challenges one of your characters must choose one with bodyguard if able. Okay, no, see, never mind. That wouldn't work like that. So this card's just bad. In my head, I was like, if they can't challenge the bodyguard or they can't attack anything else. So if somebody who is more familiar with the rules and interactions of this game could educate me on this, if it can't be challenged and that means your opponent can't challenge anything else, that's fantastic. If it's not like that, this card is just bad. A Very Merry Unbirthday. I love this card. This card has potential, I think, in Emerald Amethyst. Because like you still play if you did like Emerald, Amethyst, discard and mill, you discard your opponent's hand, and then you are milling the top 2 cards. This is a 1-cost song, which that's very easy to do and won't really cost you that much ink. I think this card is really good. I'm really interested to see what people do with it. Each opponent puts the top 2 cards of the deck into the discard. If you have your opponent on the top deck and you're constantly milling their cards, you're gonna put them in a really bad spot. And I think this is honestly probably one of my favorite songs for Amethyst. I definitely think there's definitely a purpose to play this, even if you're not milling your opponent. The ability to, as soon as like turn 1, to start taking cards off the top of their deck, maybe getting some of the cards they need later on, is phenomenal. Mama Odie is she's okay. She's okay. I don't know how on board I am with an archetype of moving damage around. I think it does have potential. Mama Odie's ability is when you play a song, you may move up to 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So comboing that up with her location, you're gonna be able to move like 3 damage a turn on top of other damage movers. I definitely think there is potential there, but I don't know if it's gonna be meta. It's gonna be very interesting to see how that goes. And as kind of a gag, because we always got to end off with a Mickey Mouse, this card is it's okay. It's okay. Mickey Mouse, Night Watchman, 2/3, quest for 2, 3 ink, 3 cost ink, inkable. Support. Your Pluto characters gain +1 resistant. This is kind of hilarious because we do have a bodyguard Pluto from Into the Inklands. It's a 7 drop, but I believe it shifts for 5, and it's a bodyguard, and it's got like 7 health, and it heals 3 damage at the start of your turn from itself. You can heal 3 damage from a character at the start of your turn. So if you played that, you could theoretically keep that bodyguard alive. You could theoretically keep that bodyguard at like healthy and keep your other units safe for a very long time until you get like Be Prepared or something like that. I think it's okay. Now with this one, it's important to realize we could get more Plutos in this set. I feel like if this has this ability, there's going to be more Plutos in this set. So we'll have to see, but it's a fun card. It's not going to be competitive. I'd be surprised if it was competitive. But let me know, guys, know what you think about all the reveals coming out now. Like I said, we are in the creator reveal season, so people are going to be reveal season. So people are going to be dropping those reveals a lot. Make sure you're following amazing content creators on Instagram, Twitter, like Lorcana Tactics, Lorcana Creator, Lorcana Girl, Rebecca Quests, Ready Set Lore. Lots of great Lorcana content creators over on other socials are posting a bunch of reveals, so make sure you follow them. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ding that notification bell if you want to be alerted to when we post amazing content, because we do it for you. Follow me on all the rest of my socials. Have yourselves a great day. Stay safe out there, and I'll see ya when I see ya. Bye.